Welcome back, everybody, to the Double Team Podcast. I'm Cam Rucker alongside my host, Quentin Thorne. Today, we are joined by Orlando Johnson. Orlando spent 5 seasons in the NBA, including 12 playoff appearances with the Indiana Pacers in 2013. Orlando is also the all-time leading scorer for the USSB men's basketball team and widely regarded as the best player in program history. Orlando, welcome, man.
Thank you for having me.
No problem.
It's a pleasure to be on. So just focusing on your college experiences early, you spent your first year at LMU and then transferred over to UCSB. What compelled you to make that move?
Well, we had a really tough year my freshman year. I think we won maybe 6 games, and the WCC is tough. But unfortunately, my coach, he got fired, and pretty much he brought in a new coach. The new coach, he had NBA experience and all that. Pretty much came in and said, I want to keep you. He's like, but I'm getting rid of everybody else on this team. So one of my best friends, it was on the team. And he actually, they basically told him like, hey, you're not good enough to play here. I didn't really like, that part about it. And then I realized it was a business early. And I just made a decision like, hey, like if he's not staying, then I'm pretty much not staying. So, once that happened, I know they tried everything they could to keep me there. But I just didn't want to. And I was ready to just kind of start over. And I knew college, you only get 4 years. So having to restart over as a sophomore with a whole new group, already in a, pretty tough conference, I just didn't think that was going to be a recipe for success. And wanted to try to see what else was out there.
After you transferred, what did your new school, USSB, mean to you? And how did it shape you into the person you are today?
Yeah. Well, Cam, I'm going to need you to get UCSB right. And,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Nah, you're good, man. So it actually, it was like one of those things that kind of like came to me because I definitely wasn't looking to go there. I was like, man, I'm just leaving, from, West Coast Conference, like it has Gonzaga, St. Mary's, like some of the top, programs in the country. And I'm going to the Big West. I'm like, like this first school to call me when I was like deciding to transfer was Purdue. And then from there it was San Diego State, Texas A&M, St. John's, and Oregon State. So like I wasn't even thinking about like I was like, okay, like I'm pretty like unless I go to San Diego State, I'm pretty sure I'm about to leave California. And I was good with that, like because I wanted to be able to, test and see how good I really could be. Then my brothers got involved. I was, raised by them, so they pretty much were like, "Nah, you're not leaving California. Like, as long as we get a chance to watch you play, like we're gonna try to watch you as much as possible." So so I took like an unofficial visit, like along the coast, like because I was driving back from LA to my hometown Seaside, and we stopped by Santa Barbara. They took my brother out to eat and do all that. And they loved it. They were like, "Oh man, Santa Barbara, this is nice. This is a UC education," and I was like, "Oh, it's cool." Like, you know what I mean? I just wasn't sold on it. A few weeks go by, I take my trips to San Diego State. I think I had another one to like Oregon State coming up here pretty soon, and then Purdue as well. And so I didn't even end up getting a chance to take the Purdue and Oregon State trip. So I was like, okay, well, San Diego State's still in California. Like, it's beautiful out there. Like, and they have a really good team. I was like, yeah, I want to do San Diego State. My brother's like, nah, you're not doing that. Like, I was like, what you mean? Like, this is about to be one of the best teams. And like the coach, he told me, he's like, me coming in, and then they had a guy coming in the following year. Like, so after I would redshirt a year, that next year, I think would have been 09. yeah, and then Kawhi Leonard was gonna be coming in. So I was like,
Hmm.
he was like, man, he's like, you two guys on the wing, he's like, you guys are gonna be, one of the best, backcourts in the country. And so I was like, oh man, like, and maybe that could, I never knew the guy, but then I got a chance to play against him in college. Like, this guy's pretty tough, So, yeah, that's kind of how it happened though. Like my brothers picked the school. Coach ended up calling me, waking me up, and they still to this day won't tell me like who actually like made that call, but it's all good. It worked out for me.
Yeah. And also looking at your stats, you had a point increase, a rebound increase, assist increase every year since you went to UCSB.
There we go.
What helped you increase your stats? Was it the comfortability? Was it what factors helped get you there to that point where you were like, okay, now it's my turn to take over?
It was just the belief, like I know a lot of people going into college ball, like they want that, right? But it was just the belief in the work. Like it was every day. Like that redshirt year, as much as I didn't want to sit out and I wanted to play, like I think it just did wonders because I was just able to just be in the gym all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I had class and stuff like that, but when I wasn't in class, when I wasn't, at my little studio, I was in the gym and I was just grinding away till I could, like, I was like, because I knew, like, once I hit the scene on the next season, I was like, I'm about to hit the ground running and I'm about to be, one of the best players in the country. And I just knew like that was my mindset going into like when I transferred there. I was like, I was pissed because I didn't really choose this school, but for some reason it chose me. And my brother felt like this was like the best opportunity for me to showcase my skills. So I was like, I just got to kill it. I have to kill it to get to where I wanted to go. And, somebody telling, everybody thinks they're going to be an NBA player at 18, 19, but I just kept saying it, to every day, but wasn't allowed. Like, hey, I'm going to leave. It was like a self-talk and self-belief. Like, hey, I'm gonna make it. Like it's just every day. Like even if you don't see it, just keep going, keep grinding. And
So you talk about that belief you had in yourself in making it to the NBA. But when did it really start to get real? Like when did you start getting that kind of information of like, hey, teams are looking at you, like there's a realistic shot that you're going to get drafted? Like when did that start to happen and when did that really sink in?
I think probably after my junior year. Like I had a really good junior year. I think I was like top 10 in the nation in scoring or something like that. And then went to a few different like camps. Got a chance to go to, I entered the draft my junior year. And we had like this, I forgot what it was called. It was the Nets hosted like some like camp. It was for like undrafted to second round picks and stuff like that. And a lot of guys, like a lot of like pros who ended up going like first round, end up getting drafted and stuff like that were there. And I think I left that camp like probably went as an unknown, came out as like a top 5 guy out of there. Doing my testing and playing, at the thing. And that really like kind of took off. Then being able to play on the world games, like for the USA team in college, playing in the biggest, camps. Kevin Durant had a skills camp for college guys, like all the wings. And then if you did well at that one, you got invited to LeBron James. So I knew after that, yes, oh yeah, like I belong here. I can play with these guys. You know what I mean? And I can do more than just hold my own. Like I really do belong on this stage. So I think that was like when the real belief and the buzz really started taking off after that year.
What's it like in the league? Like, what's your first experience? What's your like first story that you can say that you can remember? Like your welcoming moment when you came to the league.
Well, yeah, my welcoming moment was first day of training camp. You know, like I'm a rookie, so I'm not getting too many reps, but the reps I do get, I'm going hard. I'm like, I gotta, try to make an impression. And we were like getting up and down. Somebody takes a shot and the lane is just so wide open. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to go get a tip down. And I think David West, he looks over and he sees me like running down. As soon as I'm about to take off, he just puts his big old forearm just right in my chest. Boom, man. As soon as I take off, I like hit the ground. Boom. And I'm like, I'm struggling to breathe. He looks at me, he's like, Rook, you all right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you need a sub? I was like, nah. Like, I'm good. I'll figure it out. So, yeah, I think that was like one of the times I was like, man, these dudes right here. Like, I used to be like, I still was one of the stronger guys, but that dude right there was like, that was the grown man strength right there that he put on me. So, I was, that was my first like welcome to the league moment. Like, these guys are bigger, faster, stronger. So, yeah, I got to figure it out.
Yeah, and you were on a really special Pacers team as well that rookie season. You had Paul George, obviously, you got Roy Hibbert, you got George Hill, you got David West, as you mentioned, and that team went really, really far into the playoffs, including making it to the South Beach area to play that Heat Big Three team. So what was that experience like for you to get to be on such a high-level national stage in the playoffs against LeBron James, of all people?
Yeah. I think, especially going through that year, like we kind of realized how good we could be. And we had this belief because of our coach, Frank Vogel at the time, really harped on us playing with and for one another. And that just made the game so much simpler. Like I really learned how to play basketball. Like I think once I got to the NBA and with that team, that organization, and I'm truly thankful for that. I think it's been able to just only help my career in terms of just being able to play and adapt to any environment. I was so used to playing with the ball in my hand, coming out of college, that I had to learn how to be like more off the ball, think differently, without the ball. And like that team was like, really special. And then, like you said, we got a chance to, play against the best of the best. And they were tough, man. Like I think that what they don't get enough credit for is how like they defended. Like they really, really defended. They could switch a lot of different bodies at you, and bring a lot of different bodies because they had great rim protection with Birdman and Bosh. Joel Anthony was down there too.
And this is prime Bron too, when he was really
and Bron was he was in, those are the talks where he was in like defensive player of the year like talks and first team everything. Bron MVP Bron, so he was you could tell like when there was moments where it was like, okay, like he's about to just take over, and he did just that. Like we got him to 7 games, and I seen that 7th game, like there was no smiling or nothing. It was like, all right, like it kind of reminded me like that following year when they were in Boston or whatever, and he had that crazy game 6 to kind of like take him to another level with that 45 point, 15 rebound, game. But yeah, I seen how he did this in game 7. I was like, oof. I was like, this guy is something different for sure.
Speaking of, coming into your rookie year, you get thrown onto a great team, just like the Pacers. How big of the adjustment, like you said, you went from having the ball in your hands to having to go into a system that's already basically established. How big was that jump for you?
It was big because I had a lot of good, really good teammates, that were able to just take me under their wing and pretty much just show me what it took to be a pro, like what it took to succeed, as a pro. And I remember David West would bring me to the side and would be like, he's like, oh, when you catch it, he's like, either catch and shoot, catch and drive it, or catch and pass it. He's like, and it was all from like the Spurs mentality, like the 0.5 system. Like it was like, quick decisions, not don't hold the ball, massage it, everything, whatever. Catch that and get right to it. And so once I learned that, and once I actually like was able to implement that in my game, it just made things so much easier for me. Like I was able to I didn't have to like, sit there and try to like break people down, because like that's hard to do, like, and hard to score like that all the time. So once I was able to, really gather that concept of like 0.5 basketball, made my job a lot easier, and it made playing with everybody else so much fun, because the ball was going to find the guy who it needed to find it for the shot.
So you've talked a little bit about how much David West impacted you. Was there another NBA player that you had during your career that felt like was a really great teammate and really impacted you for the better?
Yeah, George Hill, me and Donald Sloan, were very close. We would work out all the time together when we were in Indiana. Let's see, me and Paul George were very close during that time. We just, those guys, were continuously just pushing me, and they helped. And then I had a assistant coach, Dan Burke, that I spent a lot of time with during my time there, and he really invested in me into making sure that I was ready. And for me, like I think pretty much what was like the thing that helped get me there, and what like people really respected, was just the work that I put in there every day. Like it wasn't like, there's people that saying they're working, but like that was like me day in, day out. Like everything I was breathing at that time was only about like becoming the best professional I could be. Like some days I wasn't even talking to family, just because of how locked in I was on trying to make this thing work. And really having like vets like Roy Hibbert and Louis Scola, like Jan Mahimi, these guys really like just kept showing me like, every day, like, define that balance, and I think I definitely did as like my careers and stuff been able to like unfold.
So transitioning now into kind of the next chapter of your life, like following the NBA, you spent a lot of time playing internationally.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favorite country that you played in? And how did spending so much time overseas help mold you into what you are now?
Oh, I'll say the Philippines. Philippines was amazing, man. Just in terms of how much they love basketball and how much they like. When I tell you, like, it'll be a game on, and like people will shut down everything just to go watch like a basketball
That's so
game.
awesome.
Like they love hoop, and it's amazing to see. Like kids will be out there playing with no shoes on, whatever, 5-on-5, in their town or whatever, and they're getting after it. And, like that was like the coolest thing to see for me. Just how much they embraced the game and how much they loved it. And I think for me, culturally, like just making me adapt to so many different cultures, and getting out of my comfort zone, trying different things. That was my favorite part about being overseas. Like you get to really like just each year you go into it, you're like getting a chance to expand on who you were the year before, getting a chance to try different things that you didn't do, before, or that you couldn't do, in America. So, yeah, that was like the coolest thing about it, like just getting a chance to meet so many great people along the way.
What would you say the biggest difference between playing overseas and the NBA? What are some differences you could say?
Well, the game's shorter. Like it's like 40 minutes over there to 40 minutes, 48 minutes here. Also, the court's a lot like smaller in terms of like the international rules, like there's no 3 seconds in the key. So like bigs can really just sit in the paint. And it's harder to score over there because there's not as many like driving lanes and stuff like that. So like you got to be really like efficient, and you got to be able to shoot for sure. It helps. It helps a lot. You're able to spread the floor out and stuff like that. Being able to get yours in very efficient ways, and 2 dribbles, because they don't really want guys coming over there, trying to just do too much, unless you're like playing in like Asia where they're like expecting you to go for a lot of points and stuff like that. But I've been in leagues where the highest score was like 17, 18 points a game or something like that. And so you had to be really efficient.
Yeah, I saw Luka talking about how he said it was harder to score up in Europe, and so it made his game a little bit easier whenever he came over here, because he was playing since 16, he said 18.
Yeah, Luka's been playing for a while over there. Like I remember playing against him when he was 17. He was with Real, and I was with Unix Kazan in Russia. So that was a EuroLeague game. But I was like, man, this guy, he's gonna be special. Even though like it was like not one of his best games, but like you just see the growth he keeps having in his game, the size he had, the vision. Like I didn't know he could score like this, but I definitely knew like all the intangibles. Like yeah, they were there. Like you could see him on display very early. So
at 17, wow.
At 17 years old, you could see like, oh yeah, like why they were talking about him, why they were raving about him. And yeah, I didn't know, like, because it's kind of hard, it's tricky because especially like with European players, because we don't get a chance to see him as much. But yeah, I got a chance to see him up close, and I was like, oh yeah, no, he's definitely different.
Hey, so shifting back, so what was one of your favorite teams you could say you played for internationally and NBA? Like,
nationally, I would say, okay, the Austin Spurs. I played with them in the G League. So they helped. I felt like the group of guys, Mufon Udofia, Keith Wright, Jonathan Simmons, Bryce Cotton, Michael Green was over there with us. All those guys, Jarrell Eddie, like all those guys kind of helped me, I would say fall back in love with the game. Like, because when you get to, the highest of levels, you're not playing as much. You don't really know why you're not playing. It can do something to you, It can definitely make you feel like why you're getting you don't know why you're getting the short end of the stick, or why you're not playing up there or whatever. But playing with those guys, seeing how they embrace it, being around the coaching staff like Earl Watson, Patrick Mutombo, those guys, every day just coming into work, still, realizing like how much they love the game still. Like that was the thing that kind of re-sparked that dream again. And yeah, I'm very thankful to play with them and the Indiana group for sure. Still have a lot of good relationships with those guys. Ran into David this summer. I was able to see him and catch up. So Lance was able to see him too. So yeah, that's going to be always one of my favorite teams I've ever played for.
Unfortunately, now that's all the time that we have. But Orlando, thank you so much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure to get to sit down and talk with you. And we're so excited to see all the great things that you're going to do down the road. We're going to make sure to keep tabs on it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you, Q. Thanks, Cam.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Y'all take care.
Yeah, you